welcome to Dave's Guitar Lessons, and welcome to this week's video, which is week 2 of our 30-day challenge in sweep picking. In this video we're going to continue with our challenge on sweep picking. In the last video we were looking at the C major 5-string sweep and the A minor 5-string sweep. This week we're going to be changing to 3-string sweeps, and we're going to be looking at the E minor arpeggio and the D minor arpeggio. Our E minor arpeggio is going to be a 16th note arpeggio, and our D minor arpeggio is going to be an 8th note triplet arpeggio. So we're going to get used to playing a 16th note idea and an 8th note triplet idea. Now please subscribe to the channel so you can keep up to date with all the videos as they're uploaded, and be sure to check out in the description box where you'll find links to the free tabs and all the backing tracks that accompany this lesson series. In the last lesson we really broke down the ways that you should be practicing these sweeps and the technical aspect of playing them. For example, lifting your fingers off after you picked each note and pushing through the strings rather than picking them individually. So if you're new to sweep picking or you need to recap on any of the techniques that we discussed, you should watch the last video that I uploaded, which will be linked in this video as well in the top corner. So we're going to zoom to the guitar neck now, and we're going to break down the notes that we'll be playing in each of the arpeggios. And I want you to continue in the same vein as you did in the last video, where we started off playing at a certain tempo, and then you just build up on that tempo. Every time you get comfortable, you go up 10 BPM. But again, if you missed all of that, just go back to the last video and it'll explain everything about how I want you to practice this to make sure that you're getting it right and you're not learning how to do it wrong and maybe practicing mistakes rather than doing it right from the start. Okay, so we're going to start by going through our E minor arpeggio first. Now the first thing to think of is our counts. So like we did in the last video where we went through more of a triplet feel, where we were going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1 triplet, 2 triplet, however you want to count it. This one's going to be doing more of a 16th note kind of groove. So we're not thinking in 3s at all, we're thinking in 4s. So it's going to be 1 E under, 2 E under, 3 E under, 4 E under. So that's the first step, is getting that count into your head. So when you're playing over the backing tracks or your own backing tracks or anything, or playing with your band or anything, always think, what's the count doing? So if the beat's going 1, 2, 3, 4, if the count's doing something like that, then just you have to get into your mind of thinking 1 E under, 2 E under, 3 E under, 4 E under. And once you've got that, then it makes it a lot easier to put the sweeps into whatever context you're playing over. So we're going to break down the notes of the E minor arpeggio first. So we're going to go from the 7th fret on the G string to the 9th fret on the G string. Then it's to the 8th fret on the B string, followed by the 7th fret on the high E string, then the 10th fret on the high E string, then the 7th fret again high E string, to the 8th fret again on the B string, to the 9th fret again on the G string, and then it starts all over again. So the notes that we're using now, when it comes to the actual picking pattern and the way we're going to approach this as a sweeping exercise, so the first part is actually a hammer on, so we're hammering on from 7 to 9. This is when the sweep starts, so we're just doing a 2-string sweep from the 6th fret on the B string to the 7th fret on the high E string. So same again, be sure when you do your sweep that after you've played the note, as you play the next note, the note before releases. So you're not getting, which is more like a double stop or a chord. You want to get each note individual. And again, go back onto the last video for details on this kind of stuff, but when you're sweeping you should be pushing through the string and it just lands on the pick just lands on the string below. When you get used to that, you can start pushing through them both. So rather than picking, you want to be pushing through. So then we follow that with an up pick on the 10th fret, which is then going to lead to a pull off back to the 7th. So far we've got hammer on 7 to 9, then 8 to 7, and that's your sweep. And then your up pick at the 10th fret, which leads to the pull off. Then we go back to an up pick, so this is the up sweep. So this sequence is generally 2 sweeps. It's a 2-string sweep going down and a 2-string sweep going up. So now we're on the 6th fret on the B string, and that's an up pick. And again, when you pull through, you let it land on the string above, and then you're going to play the 9th fret on the G string again, which is the last note. So that's your little sweep going upwards, just from the 8th fret to the 9th fret. And again, notice how I release the fingers on each one. So all of that together should go like this. And approach this in the same way as we mentioned in the last video, where you start your metronome at, let's say, 60 BPM, really get into that groove of 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Play it very slowly and making sure you're doing everything accurately. When you can do that at the first tempo, move it up by 10 BPM. So if you start at 60, when you got it comfortable and you're doing it exactly right and accurately, then go up to 70. Then start again, make sure you're doing it exactly right and accurately. Don't be sloppy, and make sure that you are actually doing it exactly right. So even if you have to film yourself doing it, when you can do that comfortably, go up by another 10 BPM, get up to 80. And do the same thing again, make sure you're doing everything exactly right, and then go again. And like I said in the last video, you usually come to a point where you can't do it perfectly anymore. You might be able to do it, but you're not doing it exactly right. When you get to that point, go down by 5 BPM and do the exercise over, and then jot down that tempo that you got to. The following day, see if you can get beyond that tempo. Even if you can just get up to the actual tempo you start to find difficult, you usually find if you do this for the full week, just doing it 10 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day on each exercise, you'll find that by the end of the week you should be able to do it at quite a decent tempo. Okay, now on to the D minor arpeggio. So again, this is another 3-string sweep. This time we're going to go back to the triplet feel. So if the count again is going 1, 2, 3. Now your triplet feel should be 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However you want to count it, just as long as you're getting into that mindset of the groove. So this is going to be a very strict sweep picking exercise. There's no hammer-ons or pull-offs or anything like that in this one. It's literally just going to be 3 picks downwards, 3 picks back up. So the notes we're going to use first of all is going to be the 7th fret on the G string, then the 6th fret on the B string, 5th fret on the high E string, then we'll go to the 8th fret on the high E string, then the 6th fret on the B string, and then the 5th fret on the G string. So that's all the notes for that are like this. Now this can be a little bit strange to play at first because, like I say, it's very full on with the sweeping. There's no hammer-ons or pull-offs to give your right hand a bit of a break. So again, just do the same things I've said over and over again. Start at a slow tempo, make sure you're doing it exactly right, and then gradually move up your tempos. So with the right hand technique on this one, we're doing the same thing as always. We're just going to be pushing through the strings, make sure that it lands on the string below, and the same on the way back up. So you pull through the string and make sure it lands on the string above. So you should be able to get that count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 triplet, 2 triplet. And then when you feel comfortable, start adding in the notes. Now I have also included in the with the backing tracks a track which goes from E minor to D minor, so you can play along with that as well. So you can get used to switching between the 2 positions, but more importantly switching between the 2 timings. With this one, if you start on the E minor, you're going to be going 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and then the D minor is going to go 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, which can be a little bit weird to do at first because you have to really focus your mind in on what the timing is doing. So if we go between the 2 timings, it's going to go 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... So when you practice those, you could do it with just a metronome or with the backing tracks if you like, and it's just going to go... So thanks very much for watching this second video on our 30-day challenge for sweep picking. Join us for the next video, which is going to break down a couple more sweeps for you to do in the third week of this challenge. In a moment there's going to be a playthrough of me playing the sweeps that we've covered in this lesson with the backing tracks for you to get an idea of how they sound in a more of a musical context. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so you can keep up to date with all the videos.